2 houses, 1 lie. I exposed my husband's secret life. I found a sky blue toothbrush in our travel bag. Not mine. Not his. 2 days later, I stood on a stranger's porch, looked my husband in the eyes, and said 4 words: I'm his wife. What happened next changed everything. The wrong toothbrush. I didn't notice the second toothbrush until it was too late. It was pale blue, soft, almost innocent, and sitting in Ethan's travel pouch like it belonged there. I always bought white brushes, and his was navy. But this one? Sky blue, delicate, wrong. He came home that night from another business trip to Denver, all easy smiles and soft kisses. "Missed you, babe," he said, as if those words were receipts of loyalty. I smiled back. The lemon I was slicing didn't shake in my hand. Not yet. When he went to shower, I opened the pouch again. The blue toothbrush waited for me. There was a single golden hair tangled in the bristles. Not mine. My pulse turned into static. I zipped the pouch closed and set it back exactly as I found it. When Ethan came out of the bathroom, humming his usual careless tune, I handed him tea with lemon and said nothing. That night, he slept easily. I didn't. In the dark, the sound of the radiator turned into whispers I couldn't ignore. By morning, I had a plan, quiet, careful, surgical. I went through his travel receipts. Denver, Denver, Denver. Except one didn't fit. A cafe in Fort Collins, time-stamped on a Thursday afternoon. 2 croissants, chamomile tea, hot chocolate. Total, $17.82. The order name, E, with a heart scribbled beside it. I texted him. Me. You'll be in Denver next week again? Ethan. Maybe Boulder. What? Me. Just planning dinners. Ethan, you're the best. He didn't notice that I was planning something else entirely. Thursday came. Instead of boarding a flight to Denver like he thought, I drove north to Fort Collins. The cafe from the receipt was small, warm, full of chatter. I sat by the window with chamomile tea, trying to act normal while my heart slammed against my ribs. At 11 a.m., a woman entered with a toddler wearing yellow boots. She had golden hair, the exact color of that single strand on the toothbrush. The boy pointed at a croissant. "Dada likes this," he said. The woman smiled. "He does." I followed them, 10 steps behind, through streets that smelled of rain and routine. She stopped in front of a pale gray townhouse with toys on the porch. She had keys. Then I heard it, a man's voice from inside. "You're home early." I froze. My world split. It was Ethan's voice. He came to the door holding a baby, wearing the same sweatshirt I'd bought him for our anniversary. He kissed the woman's forehead. The little boy laughed, shouting, "Daddy." Something inside me cracked open. I stepped out from behind the hedge. "Ethan," I called. He turned, pale as the doorframe behind him. The woman looked at me, confusion first, then fear. "Who's that?" she asked. I lifted my chin and said the 4 words that burned my tongue. "I'm his wife." The street went silent. A watering can drop somewhere. A wind chime sang like it was trying to fill the pause between lives. Ethan's mouth opened, but no sound came. That's when I realized this wasn't a discovery. It was a collision between 2 realities that had been running parallel, waiting to crash. Inventory of a lie. When you say, "I'm his wife," on a stranger's porch, time stops. The air gets heavy, your heartbeat turns into background noise, and even the wind forgets what to do. Ethan froze. The woman blinked twice, her lips parting as if to argue with physics. Then, calm as a blade, she said, "You're mistaken. Ethan isn't married." "Lila," he murmured, voice small, guilty. I showed her the ring on my hand. "He is." And then, just for good measure, I held up my phone with a wedding photo that left no space for lies. Lila's face drained of color. "When?" she asked quietly. "For years ago," I said. "You, too." The number sat between us like a body. She whispered, "You should come inside." I followed her, not for shelter, but for evidence. The house was warm, lived in. Family photos on the wall. The smell of baby lotion and coffee. It was everything my home pretended to be. "Finn," Lila called to her son, "go play in your room." Her voice didn't tremble. She closed the door and turned to Ethan. "Talk." He stayed by the wall, like a shadow trying to hide in daylight. 2 houses, I said. 2 families. How long did you think you could keep this up? He rubbed his face. "I never meant to hurt anyone." Lila laughed, short, humorless. "Men say that like it fixes anything." We sat at her kitchen table, across from each other, two women orbiting the same black hole. What name does he use with you? I asked. Ethan, she said. You? The same. We both laughed this time. It wasn't joy. It was disbelief. I started noticing the details. The lamp in his office, the one he told me didn't fit our apartment. The same mug, the same cologne. He had copied comfort and pasted it into another life. Lila opened a drawer. You should see this, she said. Inside were tax forms, 2 sets. One with my name, one with hers. 2 addresses, 2 insurance cards, 2 separate realities neatly filed. My chest tightened. He's methodical, I said. Professional liar, she corrected. Ethan finally spoke. I love you both. The words hit the table like poison. Pick one, I said. I can't. Then you lose both. Lila crossed her arms. You think you're in control now, Ethan? You're not. We are. He looked between us like a trapped animal. What are you going to do? Document, I said. Everything. You'll write down the truth. Dates, places, lies. Because if we tell this story, you won't survive the version the world writes for you. For the next hour, we went through drawers and shelves like detectives of domestic crime. 2 phone chargers. 2 sets of car keys. A duplicate watch. A hidden envelope labeled mortgage number 2. Each discovery felt surgical, painful, but necessary. Then Lila found something under a stack of baby clothes. A photo from a clinic. An ultrasound. A tiny, blurred shape labeled baby C, 12 weeks. She froze. He told me it was ours, she whispered. I looked at the picture, then at her. And he told me he didn't want kids. Ever. The silence was unbearable. The baby monitor hummed like static guilt. Ethan stepped forward, trembling. I was going to tell you both. No, I cut him off. You were going to continue. He started crying. Lila didn't move. She was beyond tears. Get out, she said. Both of us deserve air that isn't full of your lies. He hesitated. Lila, please. I said out. He left. The door closed. We sat in his empty echo. Lila poured us both tea. You know what's wild? She said, voice barely there. He convinced me his parents were dead. We spent Thanksgiving with his mother. I blinked. He told me they died in a car accident 10 years ago. She gave a hollow laugh. So even his grief was plagiarized. We sat in that small kitchen surrounded by evidence of a life built on duplication. 2 women, 1 ghost of a man. Finally, Lila asked, what do we do now? Whatever makes us real again, I said. He's been living double. We start living honest. She nodded. Then let's start with the truth. That night, I got an email from an address I'd never seen before. Subject line, timeline draft. Attached, a 12-page document. The first line read, I met Avery at the Skylark on June 11th. I met Lila at Greenway Coffee on March 3rd. I told both I was an only child. The last line, ultrasound. It's a girl. And just like that, I realized the damage wasn't just done, it was alive. The door you choose. The ultrasound photo sat on my laptop screen for hours. A blurry outline. A tiny head. The caption, Baby C, 12 weeks. And Ethan's thumb in the corner of the picture, like a signature on the crime. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just made 3 lists. List A, immediate. Change passwords. Freeze the joint account. Tell my sister. Sleep, if possible. List B, legal. Find an attorney. Draft separation. Get a copy of that timeline. List C, human. Remember to eat. And remind myself, I'm not crazy. I'm informed. The next day, Lila texted me. He came for dinner. Told Finn he's on a work trip again. I didn't correct him. Then another message. He left a folder labeled taxes. You'll want to see this. Inside that folder were receipts, emails, and 2 driver's licenses. 1 for Ethan Moore, 1 for Nathan Collins. 2 addresses. 2 signatures. 1 man made of mirrors. I printed everything. Evidence isn't just for lawyers, it's armor. 2 days later, Lila sent her friend, an attorney named Priya, a calm woman with sharp eyes and sharper words. She spread the papers across my table. Bigamy, she said. It's rare, but very real. He's in serious legal danger. Good, I said. Priya smiled faintly. Good is relative. What do you want, Avery? Money? Revenge? No, I said. I want peace. And I want him to never do this to anyone again. She nodded. Then we build a record. Truth is your leverage. That evening, Ethan texted. Can we talk? I replied. Come at 6. Bring your laptop. He showed up on time, for once. He looked smaller, like the lies had started eating him from the inside. He set his keys on the counter like an offering. I can explain, he started. No, I said. You can document. He opened his laptop. I handed him the printed timeline. At everything you left out. He typed. Slowly, each word costing him another piece of himself. I watched his fingers shake, watched his story collapse under its own weight. When he finished, I asked, why 2 lives? He stared at the floor. Because I didn't know how to be one person anymore. You both saw different parts of me. I thought I could manage it. Until I couldn't. That's not an excuse, I said. That's a confession. He nodded. Then let it be one. We agreed on terms. He'd move out. Pay both rents for 6 months. No more lies. No more double names. He signed every page without protest. The easiest thing he'd ever done too late. Before he left, he looked at me and said, I did love you. I know, I said. That's what makes it worse. A week passed. Then 2. Lila and I texted occasionally. Updates, not trauma. She was rebuilding her home. I was rebuilding myself. I started walking in the mornings, long enough to forget the shape of his shadow. I deleted our photos. I kept the blue toothbrush, not as a relic of pain, but as proof that intuition saves lives. Months later, Lila invited me to coffee. The same cafe. She looked stronger. Her son waved from the window with sticky hands. He's paying child support, she said. And therapy's helping. I even laughed last week, genuinely. I smiled. That's progress. She hesitated, then asked, Are you filing for divorce? Already did, I said. It's not revenge. It's closure. We sat in silence for a moment. The barista drew a heart on my cup. I didn't flinch this time. Lila said, Do you ever think you'll forgive him? I thought about it. Maybe, but not for him. For me. That night, I opened my journal, the same one I'd once used to list groceries and deadlines, and wrote a new kind of entry. I met a liar who taught me how to tell the truth. I met betrayal and learned how to trust myself. I met endings and realized they're just unedited beginnings. Then I closed it and went to bed, in sheets that smelled like new detergent and peace. A few weeks later, a letter came in the mail. From Ethan. No apologies. Just one sentence, written in his careful handwriting. I hope the baby has your strength. I folded it once, placed it in the same drawer as the blue toothbrush, and locked it. Not out of anger, out of finality. The next morning, I took a walk. The city was quiet. The air smelled of rain and rebirth. In a store window, I saw my reflection, clear, unbroken. For the first time in a long time, I didn't look away. Because I was no longer someone's secret. I was my own story. You can't save a man who builds his life out of borrowed truths. But you can save yourself by refusing to live in his fiction.